Hey everybody, thank you very much. I always appreciate you watching. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another classic movie review. I am talking about a classic science fiction action thriller from 1987, Predator. This movie has sequels, spin-off, has versus movies, and very famous video games, the Alien vs. Predator video games. And this is a movie that stars, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was making one classic after another back in the 80s and early 90s, this movie being one of them. This was directed by John McTiernan, who would go on to direct Die Hard and also The Hunt for Red October, the remake of Norman Jewison's The Thomas Crown Affair. And this is one of the most rewatchable action films from the 1980s. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Dutch. He's the leader of a military rescue team that is going to South America. Schwarzenegger's character Dutch and his men have their own distinct personalities and their own sense of humor. You have Apollo Creed himself, Carl Weathers, as the character of Dylan, who shares the most manliest and most famous on-screen handshake with Schwarzenegger in this movie that has become a famous meme by now, but when you watch it, it really will put some hair on your chest if you're a growing boy. In their scenes together, you can feel the machismo and the masculinity and the testosterone right through the screen. You have also Jesse Ventura, Jesse the Body Ventura, who was, of course, in politics and was a wrestler and was even a Navy SEAL before making this movie. He plays the character of Blaine. Also on their team is Billy, played by Sonny Landham, who usually played a Native American character back in the 80s. In 48 Hours, he played another Native American character who was also known as Billy. He was Billy Bear in that movie. In Predator, he's just known as Billy. He also played a bad guy in 1989's Lockup, starring Sylvester Stallone. But yeah, in this movie, he plays a pretty cool and fun, badass character who has a big knife. You also have the character of Mac, played by actor Bill Duke, who was also in 1985's Commando as a bad guy who has a pretty cool fight scene in that movie with Arnold. But in this one, he gets to be a good guy. And rounding out this group of tough guys on Arnold's team, you have Richard Chaves in the role of Poncho. You also have screenwriter Shane Black, who wrote Lethal Weapon, The Long Kiss Goodnight, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and also directed that, as well as The Predator, the more recent installment in this franchise, which I gotta say was very disappointing. But I enjoy Shane Black as the character of Hawkins. Every now and then he tells jokes that are kind of funny every now and then. And yeah, these guys are in South America. The first quarter of the movie feels like it's going to be this missing in action Rambo 2 style movie with guys in the jungle with guns kind of deal. But as we see the movie introduce us to these guys, every now and then it gives us little hints of a character that is looming in the jungle with them. At the very beginning of the movie, one of the first shots we see is of outer space, and the movie lets us know right away that we're not dealing with standard movie villains here. We see a spaceship cruise by and something shoot out of it and kind of coming down to Earth, and that basically sets up what we see stalking our team. The action in the film is excessive, it's over the top, it's exciting, a lot of explosions, a lot of shooting, a lot of big guns. You have a great scene with all these guys together kicking butt. At a certain point in this movie, Schwarzenegger's character Dutch figures out that the Predator will only go after you if you're carrying a weapon. And all throughout this movie, even though Schwarzenegger is kind of playing that classic Schwarzenegger hero type that he played very often in this day, this character is someone that actually feels vulnerable because of the kind of villain he goes up against, because this is one of those few occasions when you feel like Arnold might actually lose this one. When he played Dutch, it was a guy that was going up against 7'2" Predator. You know, Kevin Peter Hall, who played the Predator, was a real tall guy. Originally, they had an actor that wasn't so tall. Originally, they got Jean-Claude Van Damme before he was the famous Van Damme we all know. This was pre-Bloodsport. And originally, the design of the Predator was done by Rick Baker. But ultimately, the Rick Baker design just didn't work. They were like something out of a bad B movie, and it just wasn't scary and up to par with what they were trying to do. And plus, with the small stature of Van Damme compared to Arnold, it wasn't going to be an intimidating foe for Arnold. And so they decided to get someone that was 7'2", Kevin Peter Hall, who played the Sasquatch in Harry and the Hendersons. And so you put him in a suit like the one that Stan Winston created after Rick Baker recommended Stan Winston to do this job, you get gold. I still remember when my family rented this movie back in the winter of 1987 and we watched it for the first time in my living room and being scared shitless, thinking, I don't think Arnold is going to get out of this one. And usually when you watch Arnold, you're sure as hell that he's going to handle this no problem with complete ease and just no sweat. But when he gets his ass handed to him by the Predator, You're really worried for this guy, and this movie does a very good job at humanizing this big lug in a way that not a lot of movies have since. The closest I think that has come to that is 1999's End of Days, which I think is a very underrated entry in Arnold's filmography. This entire movie was beautifully shot. The action sequences still look great and hold up beautifully for 1987. There is some 80s special effects in there that is very 80s, but still for me is part of the charm. The movie is also very good at getting you to like the guys on the team, even though at first when you're introduced to them, they all seem kind of one note, and that might be true for a couple of the characters that don't get all that much shine, but for the most part, most of the members of the team do get their own little moments to show their own little individual personalities and what kind of makes them tick. Carl Weathers was such a good actor. He did a great job in the part of Dylan, because even on rewatches, the character of Dylan is that type of character where the movie doesn't want you to like him at first. You know, you're supposed to kind of bounce back and forth of wondering, you know, is this guy okay, or is he going to double cross us, or is he, you know, a real, like, legit good guy. It is a 1980s rated R action movie after all, and so you're going to see some practical effects, some blood, some non-CGI blood, which always looks a lot better in my opinion. And you know, you see people that are skinned and all kinds of cool effects with things getting blown up and, you know, blood everywhere, and gets kind of gruesome, but a good time for fans of the action genre. And yeah, Predator, enough can't be said about it. It's a classic. It's Rambo meets Aliens basically, and you know, nothing wrong with that. You can most certainly find this film on streaming, seeing as how it is one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's most iconic and beloved films of the 1980s. But those of you that watch my channel know I am a hard copy kind of guy. Here's my copy of this film right here on Blu-ray. Not the original cover, which I think back on every now and then very fondly of, because I remember having that VHS of Arnold on the cover, very pixelated picture, all blurry, with him holding a big gun in the jungle. But either way, this is a bad little close-up there of Predator's mask. There it says Ultimate Hunter Edition. This is like the special edition with all kinds of cool special features. So yeah, pretty cool to own this, but recommend this film. 4 stars, Predator 1987. Check it out, it's a great time. Thank you all very much for watching this classic movie review. I always appreciate it. If you're into the classics, if you're into movies, if you're into this kind of thing, please subscribe, hit the bell for more reviews coming your way on classic movie reviews. Please don't forget to comment, share, like, always helps out. If you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for watching and for supporting the channel. Please look out for more classic movie reviews very soon. Happy holidays. Have a good one. God bless. Peace out. Bye.